guys in today's movie that you don't hate.
Jaws 3D. The third dimension is terror.
Jaws 3! Second sequel to 1975 classic Jaws. By the time you got to Jaws 2, it was already starting to lose a little bit. Actually, it lost it with Jaws 3. But we're going to prove it. It doesn't matter. We're going to prove that you do not hate Jaws 3. So we're going to actually bring out and separate this whole thing in plot, acting, directing, special effects, and makeup, action sequences, and characters. We'll tally up the votes there, and then we're going to prove that you do not hate Jaws 3. So Aspen is joining me today. For Terrence, who's sitting in the back doing nothing.
As usual.
Aspen, give me the plot of Jaws 3.
Well, there was a shark, and it was in 3D.
Okay, the plot of Jaws 3 is there's actually a baby shark that wanders into SeaWorld and kind of killed. This is an awful show. Okay, that's true. It was a shark in 3D, but this actually takes place at SeaWorld this time and goes away from Amity Island. And the Brody kids are actually involved this time. So the kids of Chief Brody are now working at SeaWorld. Well, one is. Mike is working at SeaWorld. And there is a great white that goes into the park, kills an employee there, and then it turns out that that was just a baby. A mother shark is actually involved in the entire of all the killings that are going on in the shark in the park, and there you go. You got your adventure there.
Mm-hmm. It was the mom shark at SeaWorld
in 3D.
In 3D.
All right. Overall, there's a lot of things to the plot that actually jump out and scare you, right? Anyway, this is so bad. Okay, you're right. It is a shark and it is in 3D. But this time it actually takes place, it's at SeaWorld and not Amity Island. And centers around Mike Brody, the son of Chief Brody from the first two films. And it is pretty much a adventure and horror and thriller. And it all takes place in a marine park. But this is the first time actually that a kid of a baby shark is involved, because a baby shark wanders into the marine park and actually starts injuring bathers. Or is it really injuring bathers? No, it is actually the mother shark that is going in and it's eating everybody up, and it is pretty brutal. It's got some pretty good stuff in there. For the first time in the franchise, they actually implemented the 3D technology to market this film. Everybody thought that it was kind of gimmicky at first, but it actually paid off to some degree, because it made decent money. But regardless, the plot was pretty simple, very intense in some scenes, pretty good characters here and there. What did you think of the plot of Jaws 3?
What year did it come out again?
It came out in 1983.
83. Well, I mean, I guess I'd have to agree with you, because I don't know what year SeaWorld was founded, but I guess that seemed like something like realistic, because that's what people are afraid of. People are afraid of things that might happen. Did you stop over there? People are afraid of things that might happen. So that's something that you think about. You think about these animals that are in captivity, and what if something else got in? What if they brought in the wrong animal? Stuff like that. When they kept going with the Brody kids, I think that was good too, because not every 80s sequel that has to do with older characters' children work out.
That's true. But when you have so did you like it?
Yeah.
Okay, I liked it too. You have this baby shark that wanders in. You got the mother that comes in. You got all these different kills that happen. Mother gets stuck in a drain, comes out, and really goes at everybody. I thought that it was great. Different from the franchise. The 3D aspect of it made it really, really cool back in the day. Now, I actually saw this movie in the theater. I had the Jaws 3D glasses. I had the shark right here with the 3D in the middle. It was gimmicky, okay, to a certain degree it was. But I loved it. I thought it was great. Terrence, give me the scoreboard real quick.
Ding.
And we're gonna give this a like for plot.
Yay.
All right, the acting. This movie starred Dennis Quaid, Bess Armstrong, Simon McCorkindale, Oscar winner Lou Gossett Jr., who I actually forgot he's in this movie, and the film debut of Marty McFly's mother, Leah Thompson. This was actually her very first movie. Now, given that the acting in the 80s was not, as great. When you look at the campiness and the raunch comedies and and the campy horror and all that stuff, I'm dropping stuff. It doesn't matter. The acting was passable. I thought all of the actors did what they could with the part. I thought it was good. What do you think?
I thought Dennis Quaid did a really good job at giving like the what's the word for it? Like his psychosis, like just the way that they showed how panicky he was. I think that was really good acting on his part. Because that's something like when you're in like a horror / thriller movie, that stuff isn't real. So that's something that's really hard to communicate, especially in that time period where like special effects or any CGI or any like rig or anything to make something look scary on screen is not real when you're filming it. So it's kind of hard to actually show that emotion and that like kind of panicky feel.
And going off what you were talking about, now obviously Dennis Quaid was not in the first two movies, but he played it like he really was that character, because if you remember, the character of Mike Brody in Jaws 2 was really in the middle of the entire shark terrorizing when he was on the sailboats. So when you put that and you combine it with Jaws 1 and his character having to deal with that as well, yeah, he would probably, Dennis Quaid played him like he would be that way, where he would be a little panicky, or maybe I've seen what these sharks can do type of mentality. Yeah. So I gave it up for the 80s, and for what this was, I got to give the acting a like there. Yeah. All right, 2-0, not bad. No. Now we're getting into directing. Now, Joe Alvis is actually the director of Jaws 3, and he was a production designer of Jaws 1, so he did get to work with Spielberg firsthand, and he was a second unit director in Jaws 2. So he also, continued to work with Roy Scheider and all that good stuff. So Jaws 2 is considered the best in the franchise, but because of that experience, I thought that he brought a lot of it to Jaws 3. Well, he attempted to. There were some things that he missed. Unfortunately, there was some shots that were very similar to Spielberg, but I just think that he just missed some things here and there, especially from the action standpoint and from the kill standpoint. Now, we're going to get into that right now in the next category, but overall, there were some things that he missed that he could have actually made things better. Because it was in 3D, I thought that the 3D gimmick, even though it was good, there was some things that he was probably sidetracked with, having to concentrating on making the 3D technology work as opposed to making a really good solid film. And I think that distracted him. I think he didn't put out the best work that he could have done, because he's very talented. He's a very talented person, especially what he did in Jaws 1. But I thought that he missed out, and I think the 3D gimmick was what hindered his potential. So exactly. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to give the directing a hate.
Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna hop on that. So like him being a really creative director is true and all, but I think like when you've been with a franchise for so long and you're taking into consideration the other two movies that have already come out, and we've actually talked about this before, about any sequel that goes past like 2 movies. When you're thinking about all of the other movies that have been made, you're trying to think like what's gonna make it interesting, what's gonna make it better. And then you're also adding in this new 3D effect that you're also like, well, now I have to make scenes work around that specific thing. So definitely there were some poor choices made. Probably had a little bit more potential than they thought. Right,
and I agree 100% with you. The potential was there. It just was not executed. I'm going to give it a hate. All right, action sequences and special effects. Now you actually like this.
Yeah. Okay, so no, I'm going to tell you why I like this. So the 3D effect, actually, nobody's actually been able to see that in like 30 years. Because it never was released. Yeah, it was never released on like DVD or like anything like that. It was literally only in the movie theater that you could watch it.
Though? Yes, but we'll get to that in a minute.
So like you could really only see the 3D action in the movies. So like you don't own it. You can't own that. So but therefore the movie still had like the red and blue like kind of faded looking thing for that. So that's where I think I like it, because it's cheesy and has like, I guess, like comedic these effects look, and they're not supposed to be, but for the time period you're like thinking like, okay, like this kind of seems like really psychedelic and weird because I can't see it in 3D. So if you ignore the fact that it was 3D effect, then it actually looks pretty cool.
Okay, I am actually going to like it only because of the makeup on it. When they brought out one of the divers and they found his torso and all of that.
Yeah, that
when he's floating out from the observation deck in the underwater observation deck, and they show him popping up, the makeup on that, it was great. From the 3D standpoint, I thought that there were some scenes that were a little corny, sure,
like
but for its day
floating arm.
In 1983, I thought that it was pretty good. It was pretty decent effects. I liked it. I really did. The shark itself. When you see certain parts of the shark, it's swimming. It's because it's so big, which is actually the biggest in franchise. It at 35 feet in length, and a female, by the way. And it's going back and forth. You could actually see the bubbles. You could actually see the bubbles coming out of the fin, so you can tell it's mechanical. So that kind of sucks. But either way, I thought
breathing hole.
I thought that the makeup effects were. I still think that the animatronics was great. It's the first time that you got to see the protruding gum. When great whites bite their prey, their jaws actually come out, and they come out of their.
Because they have like two rows of teeth.
Yeah, and they actually come out of their mouth a little bit to show their gums. And this is the first time in franchise that you actually see that with this particular shark. So.
I see it on Shark Week all the time.
I thought the production design of the shark, or the actual animatronic design of the shark, was great. Making it 35 feet was great. I liked it. I know that you look at it now and it really seems dated, but overall, back in '83 when I saw it, I thought it was great. I don't care what anybody says. I liked it.
I don't care what it says.
So that's 3-1. 3-1. We're looking good.
Yeah.
We're looking good so far. We only have one category left. Characters. A lot of these characters, unfortunately, were not developed. Now, since Mike Brody was pretty much in the first three, obviously,
it's like default.
Because of that, I think by default that character was fine.
Doesn't count.
It was developed. I thought his development was fine. I didn't have a problem with it. Bess Armstrong, who plays Kay, her character was. I don't think it was as developed. It was not. I thought she kind of plays the Matt Hooper role that Richard Dreyfuss played. So I'll give her that. But there was just some characters that just did not really. I really didn't relate to too much. Simon McCorkindale character of Philip Fitzroy did not fit in for me. Louis Gossett Jr. is good in anything except for Iron Eagle, right there.
Except for Iron Eagle.
But I loved him in this movie. But I don't think that he was given enough to really stand out as much as he could have. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to give the characters a hate.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. The characters weren't developed, and it's like. I mean, I'm kind of torn about it, because you think about the time period and you're just like, am I really supposed to be connecting with any characters? But then I think about other movies in the 80s and I'm like, you know what? No, I actually am supposed to have feelings for these characters. But that's a little harder to have when they don't have any character development.
Yeah, so hate.
Yeah.
All right. So we got a 3-2.
So it was a real close one. I knew it was going to be a close one.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be a close one too. And you know what? To be honest with you, it was borderline.
Yeah,
not being able to defend this movie.
I think it depends. Like, if you're a real stickler for like special effects and like how all of that comes out in the animatronics, then like of course you're gonna hate it.
Everything that was in the first Jaws.
Yeah, I was like, then of course like you're gonna hate it. But if you can like,
if you compare it to the first Jaws,
if you can look past it, then it's not that bad of a movie.
Now, this movie, when it first was in development, it was actually going to be brought out as a spoof made by the creators of Airplane, and it was going to be called Jaws 3, People Zero. And
oh my god, it would have been awesome!
But unfortunately, Universal said no, absolutely not. And I could understand why. You've built such a really good franchise up to that point. You really don't want to mess it up by making fun of it.
Yeah.
Now, if it was a separate movie, separate title, maybe then, or maybe even this title, but just not make it part of the franchise, then maybe. But either way, Universal said no. Dennis Quaid was high on cocaine this entire shoot. He admitted in an interview that he was high on coke. So the performance that you like so much, he was freaking stoned out of his mind.
Hey, you know what? You know what?
He was high in Independence Day, by the way.
You know what? That's not fair because
that's Randy Quaid.
Same stuff.
Yeah, really. I was like, almost every celebrity and singer was high during something.
And they gave their best work for the most part.
Yeah, really. I was like, some of Eminem's best songs were because he was on ecstasy. So fight me.
Alrighty then. 3D was big in the 80s, which was why they went this route when you had movies like Amityville 3D, Friday the 13th Part 3D.
It works for scary movies. I think
this was supposed to be a scary movie.
But see, like, I can't agree with that when you're already 3 movies in.
It's
like,
they were 2 movies in.
Whatever.
Alrighty then. Anyway.
You know what I mean? Like, when you're on your 3rd film, just drop it. All right, let it go.
It says Freddy's dead.
That was awful.
That was a bad movie.
Like 6 movies in.
Twin lens adapters were put on the cameras to actually create this 3D effect. Mm-hmm. And when you have the blue and red, hey, it worked. 3D could not be converted to TV, unfortunately. So when it was actually released on TV and VHS, DVD, and all that good stuff, it was only released as Jaws 3.
Yeah.
Now, a majority of the shots were still kept in the movie that were supposed to be 3D, so you can tell what parts were going to be 3D, what parts were not. But unfortunately, they were there no glasses, nothing happened for it. Now, it wasn't until a little bit later that 3D TVs like and that kind of advanced technology came out that you could actually probably get this copy to watch it in 3D to get the full effect of it.
But you know, like 3D still
3D effect
really
in Blu-ray, that's what it was. 3D version is actually available on Blu-ray. Unfortunately, this movie has a 11% score on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's my favorite number.
Now, for me, it's not better than 2. Well, for me, actually, it's better than 2 just a little bit for some reason. I don't know why. That's a guilty pleasure for me. I love Jaws 3. But to everybody else, it was not better than 2, was better than 4, Jaws of Revenge, which I completely agree with because that movie was freaking horrible. All right. Except for the banana boat. Yes, sorry.
Except for the banana boat.
Jaws 3, banana boat 0. All right. It was nominated for 5 Razzies. Won none, so that's a good thing. Now this is where I kind of argue whether or not it was a bust. Now, if you're comparing it to the box office numbers of Jaws 1 and Jaws 2, absolutely this movie was already taking a dive in the franchise, and it was going to be a bust for the most part. But when you have a budget of 18 million and you gross 88 million, I do not think that Universal or whoever the production company was, because it was not Universal, was crying about it, because 70 million is 70 million. So I will take that any day of the week. So after all this, it just goes to prove that you do not hate Jaws 3. Aspen, take us home.
Alright, so as usual, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below and let us know what other movies that you want us to battle about and see that you don't actually hate. If you would like to help us out and get better, have better quality videos, better sets and everything like that, maybe a better co-host, then donate to our Patreon. The link is down below.
Shots fired.
Damn. For Art, wherever the hell he's at, and Terrence in the back, I'm Manny.
I'm Aspen.
And we'll see you next time.
Shark.
That was better than Jaws 4.
Oh, was it?